The last part of what I want to share with you today is difficult to talk about. And that is the way in which we celebrate. The way in which we celebrate. This is a time for families to get together. This is a time for exchanging gifts. This is a time for get-togethers, and it's a joyous moment. But we cannot experience this moment while not being sensitive to those that are in pain. We cannot experience this moment forgetting that I'm holding my son when I walked in here, my baby. That's when I walked in here. And I'm thinking about all those people that were burying their babies over the last several months. All those people that the joy of their life was ripped away from them. They're also believers. And Allah tested them in a way that I cannot imagine. I cannot bear the thought of it, but Allah tested them in that way. And their pain, because we are kajasad, we're like one body, that's our pain too. That's our pain also. So while we celebrate the obedience to Allah, it cannot be completely absent from there is a crisis in the family. There is pain to be suffered. And that pain, even though we're celebrating Eid, we're not going to stop celebrating it, because that celebration doesn't have to do with people. It has to do with Allah. It has to do with our worship of Allah. But at the same time, we can celebrate Eid and feel the pain at the same time. And do something about that pain at the same time. So this last message that I wanted to share with you is about how we celebrate Eid. Unfortunately, a lot of people have bad habits. Inshallah, none of you are from them, so I'm not talking about you. So don't feel like I figured you out. People have bad habits and they're like, I'm going to cut back on this stuff. It's Ramadan, man. I can't. It's Ramadan. And then when Ramadan's over, Eid Mubarak, and the shayateen are also saying Eid Mubarak, they just got unchained too. They're like, well, it's not Ramadan anymore. So I think I'm going to go back to some of the old stuff. Maybe not immediately. I'll give it a couple of days. And you end up going back to how things were. And even the way we celebrate Eid sometimes. Because Eid, what happened with the Christian people, with the Jewish people, with other faith traditions. They have celebrations. They have Christmas. They have Hanukkah. They have their celebrations. You know what happened to those celebrations? They became commercialized. Right? So they don't even know why they're celebrating. They just know it's a time where a lot of stuff is on sale. A lot of stuff goes cheap, and there's a lot of lights on people's houses, and people dress in clothes and give each other gifts. That's what they know. And there's a lot of parties. There's a lot of dinners and lunches. There's a lot of extra food. A lot of, that's what they know. That's what it's become. And it's a time of great extravagance. It's a time of going over an extra. For us, the first thing was we're celebrating obedience to Allah. So the problem is, if many of us are going to be celebrating the obedience to Allah by doing things that disobey Allah, like extravagance, like showing off, like being immodest, like being indecent, like clearly disobeying the instructions of Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then saying, Eid Mubarak. The problem with that is you're saying, celebrate obedience to Allah Mubarak while you're disobeying Allah. And we're not seeing the irony of that. We're not seeing the irony of that. Now Allah told us, He alluded to Eid in the ayat. He said, لِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَهْتَدُونَ. So you can declare Allah's greatness the way He guided you. And then at the end of all of that, after وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ, so you can be grateful, you can appreciate this gift of gratitude. The very next ayah is about dua. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. When my servant, my slave asks you about me, tell them I am near. Then I am near. I respond to the call, the prayer of the one who calls whenever they call. That's Allah's promise. But Allah added something. We forget that part. He said, فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. Then they should try to respond to me too. Listen to that carefully. Here I am asking Allah, Ya Allah, I have a money issue. Help me solve this. You're the Raziq. Solve my problem. Ya Allah, I have a legal issue. Ya Allah, you're the one who rescues from any karb, any difficulty, any catastrophe. Solve my problem. Ya Allah, I have a marriage problem. Ya Allah, I have a child problem. Ya Allah, my son is becoming disobedient. Ya Allah, my health. Ya Allah, my mother. Ya Allah, my father. Ya Allah, the ummah. Ya Allah, this. Ya Allah, that. We're asking Allah every kind of dua about ourselves, about our family, about the ummah, about dua. And Allah said, I will answer every one of those du'as. However, فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. Remember the other gods I talked about? They wanted sacrifices. You got to put something in front of the altar, then you get what you want. What does Allah want? He said, they should respond to me. They should try to respond to me. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. What do you mean? So that means I'm asking Allah for something, but now Allah is saying, I've also asked for something. I've also made some demands. That means that I have to know what Allah is asking for. I have to study Allah's book. I have to let Allah speak. Just the way I'm speaking to Allah, Allah is also speaking to me. He also wants something from me. And He's saying, I'm doing my part. I expect you to do, at least try to do your part. At least try to do your part. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي. And they should try to believe then they should believe in me. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. So they can be set straight. Maybe therein lies the answer to our collective question. I can't speak to anybody personally. Sometimes people say, why isn't Allah answering my du'as? But us as a people, us as an ummah, when we collectively decide that we're not going to respond to Allah, we're not going to listen to Allah, we're going to do things our own way, we're going to turn this religion into something that makes us feel good, instead of actually this religion being something that is designed, by its design, your first priority is not your feelings, it's whether or not you're pleasing Allah. This religion is not serving you, you're supposed to serve Allah. Every other religion you'll find something. Those religions became something that serves the people. They should feel good. When the church saw that not enough people are coming to church, they started a church band. Now more people will come, right? We should change the religion to cater to the audience. Even though we don't do that in our masajid, alhamdulillah, the individual can say, yeah, but there are parts of Islam that feel pretty good. Other parts of Islam I can purposely ignore because I'm not really comfortable with. I don't really like them that much. I'm not going to respond to this part of Allah's book and this part of Allah's book. I'm going to pretend it's not there. I'm just going to talk about this part and this part and this part. And Allah is very clearly telling us, فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. They should try to respond to me. وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي. We want our du'as to be answered collectively. We want Allah Azza wa Jal to give us relief in our personal lives and across the world in the ummah. Particularly what's on all of our conscience right now and all of our minds right now is the situation in Gaza. And Allah Azza wa Jal give the shuhada Jannah, and may Allah bring the oppressors to justice. But having said all of that, we have to do our part. We need to make our dua count. Like our dua has to have value. Our dua cannot just be words. Our dua has to live up to the condition that Allah gave us, that we are celebrating. Now we're actually in a position to make real dua to Allah. We showed Allah is Akbar for 30 days. Now we know what Allahu Akbar means. Now I'm going to live the rest of my life living up to Allahu Akbar. And now I'm in this position to ask Allah, Ya Allah, I responded to you. And so I'm asking you also. That's actually the deal. That's actually this guidance that Allah has given us.